on in 3, 2, 1.
This is Packard Pokset, and I'm poking at your news. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another fine edition of Packard Pokset. I am your immutable and unmutable host, Packard Sonic. Joining us again, finally, from his long sabbatical and being locked in the basement. If you were on Twitter, you'd know what that means. Is Eric. I have no thoughts.
Free at last, free at last, free at last. Welcome back.
Yes. And joining him on our far left is Dan Unrelated Johnson.
I'm over here somewhere.
Yes. We're Dan's gonna go in the basement next, I think. Either that he went in there looking for. I think he went in there looking for Eric. Did you get all of that grime mafia?
Yeah, you know.
And joining us over from the East Coast, or the West Coast rather, is Medusa Rance.
Hello from the West Coast.
There you go. And she's got her echo, so if you hear her twice, you'll know why. No, we were trying
double the pleasure.
Double Medusa's pleasure, right? We were trying to fix that before the show. Unfortunately, we did not get it completely fixed, but we
I'm
are
not smart enough.
Yeah, well, it's
You don't need. I'm not smart.
No, I'm saying no. It's not your fault. I was gonna say yeah, it's not your fault. Computers are very
Beyond me.
Yeah, the computers are. They're not. It's not a toaster. You know, it's people need to be able to know how to work this stuff. They think, they just bring it home, plop it down on the desk, and go at it. It doesn't work that way. So it's not your fault. It's technology. It's not your fault.
Unless you have a Mac, then you can really just plop it down and it just works.
Well, almost. Yeah. You still need to practice on it. So, but anyway, we do have some small corrections we need to get to. So let's get to those now.
Uh-oh.
We goofed. On last week's show, I had said that the person that wanted to run for vice president was the vaginal probe governor. I said it was from South Carolina. I actually meant what he should have been was he's from Virginia. So, it was VP, Virginia person wanted to be from the vice presidency. So I just want to get that out of the way that it was not the governor from South Carolina. It was the governor from Virginia. So, but anyway, let's get into our tech stories for this evening. Our first tech story tonight. Now, most people who are, I'm not going to say all religious people, but a lot of people think animals are, not the smartest thing because they can't talk to us. They think that we are the epitome of evolution, whatever, or not. I don't even think they even think evolution, but they think we are the epitome of everything that's out there because we can talk, we can make stuff. Well, since the Apple iPad has come out, if you've set down an Apple iPad in front of a 2-year-old, they just instinctively know how to use this stuff. They're doing this out using these Apple iPads out at the at a Miami Zoo with orangutans, and they just seem to just get it. Since they do not have orangutans, don't have vocal cords or a voice box, so they can't communicate with us like that. But they are allowed. But this input device. It's basically, that's what it is. It's not an input, but it's a consumption device. But they're allowing them to communicate with us by using this. Dan, your thoughts?
Well, they can make sounds, just not the type of sounds that we would associate with language. But it's very cool. The software that they're using right now. Apparently they use for autistic children to help them try to communicate in a better manner with their family and friends and in school, and it's very cool that here. Can you imagine being locked up in this somewhat sizable area, but having absolutely nothing to do? All the time, how boring and depressing that would be.
Oh yeah.
This gives the apparently the older orangutans don't take much of a shine to the devices, but they're hoping to get something larger, like a more permanent installation on the wall of their enclosure, so that they can communicate with people more readily. Very cool.
Yes, it is. It is very cool. It is. I think at some point, this whole situation kind of reminds me of. Have you ever seen? What is the name of this movie where they travel through in the telephone booth?
Bill and Ted.
Right, and they said in their future, animals are communicating with people, and everything. It's not the music; it's the Apple iPad. Now we can just put down the Apple iPad in front of anything, and we'll just say, "Hey, this is what I want." No, I'm just kidding. What are your thoughts?
These are pretty incredible, even with their limited vocal capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really neat that they gave orangutans iPads to play with. Now in San Diego, we had a couple of orangutans that were paying attention to the technicians who were changing the doors on their enclosure, and they figured out a way to get out of the enclosure, and they were walking amongst the citizens of the zoo.
Oops.
So, but they were very nice, but it was a little disconcerting to be walking to the San Diego Zoo and have an orangutan take your hand. So,
at least they didn't take your wallet.
Intelligent.
Yeah, at least I was gonna say, at least they didn't train them to take their wallets. Go out and take.
Yeah. A little lifting there for the zoo.
There you go.
Plus money for the coffers there. But they eventually, if you don't give them something to do, they will find something to do.
Oh yeah.
They are very intelligent of the higher apes. So yeah, kudos for the orangutans.
Yes.
Very proud of them.
Absolutely. Eric, your thoughts?
Well, I think this shows the power that technology has and what it can do. I think orangutans are apes, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So are you, Eric.
Abadan.
But they're very intelligent creatures, and any way that we can communicate and understand, is fantastic. And like I said, it just really shows the power of these new handheld tablets, and that if you really think about it, and if you really try and create something that's unique and simple, which is what Steve Jobs always wanted, is to make things as simple as possible. It really shows what can be done and the power that it has.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to break in here for a second. Dawkins Dog and Chairman said, last thing this planet needs is a load of frustrated, angry, birds-addicted primates. So, I'm sorry, Eric. You want to continue, please?
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm good.
Okay. You're right. That's what Jobs envisioned, is something that was really simple, and the iPad was basically it. I'm just glad he was able to get it out before he died.
And
yeah.
It breaks generational barriers. It breaks all different types of lines, and now it breaks species lines. So
yes, I don't think that was a line he was expecting. I wonder if he were still alive, if he saw that. I wonder what he would be thinking right now. Why didn't I think of this sooner?
Be like, screw you, Android.
There you go. Okay, on to our next story here. The FDA advises back the first drug that's shown to prevent HIV infection. Now, it's the first drug that's ever come out on this. That's it's an antiviral pill. It's recommended for people that are high risk of contracting HIV, including gay men, bisexual men, heterosexual couples where one of them has infected couple, or one of the persons that's infected, basically. But they still need to practice safe sex. There's no substitute for that ever. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is very cool. For people that are at risk for an HIV infection, more so than most people, such as couples where one individual already has the HIV virus. It's very crucial to for one, engage in safe sex when engaging in sex at all. And something like this is, yet another step in preventing the spread, which is, crucial in helping combat the disease. The virus mutates so readily that it's very difficult to get a hold on as far as, coming up with a vaccine or something like that. But this is definitely a big step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. If this uses as a blocker, I think this will be the first step to a vaccine. At least in practical senses, I think it will be eventually help keep it in check anyway, or at least hopefully we'll eradicate this deadly virus. Medusa, your thoughts?
We always need to take a first step, and I think this is a tremendous step forward in combating AIDS and HIV.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that it targets, as Stan was mentioning, members of society who are at higher risk. And a friend of mine who's gay mentioned a high-risk group, which is African-American women, because being gay is not really out of the closet yet in the African-American community. And it's a group that it's at high risk. And as you said, there's no substitute for safe sex practices, but I think they need to target groups that are most at risk. And right now that happens to be, I look at the statistics, that happens to be white males, single white males, and African-American males are right up there.
Yeah.
So it's important to get to the people who really need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Random Access in the chat said one of the complaints was that this might encourage risky behavior. Yeah, do not try to prevent diseases because people might try to prevent the disease with it. So I mean, there's a lot of religious people who have this stance that they would say, why should we give them a drug that's going to cure it or stop it from happening? I mean, the thought process that goes through their minds, it just completely floors me.
I can't wrap my head around that. I just have to think as a medical professional and the groups that need this drug the most, and that they should get it as soon as possible.
Yes, absolutely. Eric, your thoughts?
It's a great breakthrough in medication and stuff like that, and it'll be great for those who are suffering with this ailment. And as you guys said, it is not a replacement for safe sex. That's where everything needs to start. Know who your partner is, know what you're doing, know what you're getting into. So you can't really replace that. But this is for those who, by unforeseen circumstances, end up with it, and it will help them deal with it. It fights it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great in that way. And I mean, hopefully one day we can find a cure for this horrible, horrible disease plaguing us.
Yes, absolutely. It does mutate, and so it's a little hard to nail down. It's like nailing Jello to a tree, but eventually the Jello has to harden up at some point where you probably can. If you take the skin off it, it will stay. The skin of the Jello, and I'm not talking my skin.
Okay, thank you. I love the Jello skin though. That stuff is nice.
It's chewy, exactly. I mean, it's all nice and hard. Finally, I think one day we will nail it down. It's just going to be a while. All right. Well, let's get into our next topic.
Politics.
Now, over in West Virginia, now the president for some people is not real popular. He does not sway every vote, obviously, but there is a man. He's Kenneth Judd. He's serving time in a federal corrections institution in Texarkana, Texas, for making threats at a university of New Mexico back in 1999. And he had ran against President Obama and received 41% of the votes. And he says, I voted for against Obama. First off, I didn't even know that prisoners were even allowed to vote, much less run. And he's got on the state ballot by paying a $2,500 fee and filing a form. I work my job. It's part time. I can't come up with $2,000 over $2,500 for a filing fee. except maybe once a year. Where does a prisoner get $2,500?
That's a whole lot of license plates.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of license plates. It just makes me scratch my head. How does he get that kind of cash? Dan, your thoughts? And Dan.
Daniel.
Hello, Dan.
Okay, there I am. Sorry. Real quick. How this guy came up with the money is one question. I mean, he probably had somebody donating money to him for one thing or another. But there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't be a felon, convicted felon, or even in prison or whatever to run for president, to be president.
Yeah.
No, you're a natural born citizen, you're at least 35 years old, and you've been a resident of the U.S. for at least 14 of the last years.
That's it.
It's still weird how they say you can't vote for president, but you can run for president.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Well, it depends on the state. There have been a lot of states that have been fixing the, you can't vote if you were ever convicted of a felony. Mm-hmm. The number of states is slowly decreasing that say you can't vote if you've ever been convicted of a felony. So
you say they're actually turning this around, so they're going to allow actually felons to actually vote at some point.
Oh yeah, in most states you can. I think there are still 23 states where you can't unless you petition the governor for, not for clemency necessarily, but you petition for certain rights back. And the right to vote is one of those in several of these states. But this guy, how he got on the ballot is one thing. It wasn't all above board because the guy hasn't failed the required paperwork for some of the other things, so that there's no way he could get the nomination anyway. But what gets me is the fact that this is the primary. These are people who are registered as Democrats. Mm-hmm. And here this guy, an electrician, calls himself a conservative Democrat, says of Obama, I don't like him. He didn't carry the state before, and I'm not going to let him carry it again.
Yeah. Because I saw that too. They said his daughter said, I'm not voting for someone who's in prison, but she said one thing, I want to vote against Barack Obama. Yeah.
And it's like, the one thing that comes to my mind, I hate to play the race card, but it sounds pretty damn racist to me.
Yes, it does.
Who they asked him who he voted for. He said that guy out of Texas. It's like, okay, you don't care enough about the situation to even know who it is you voted for, as long as you vote against the guy that your party is putting up for the nomination.
Yeah.
Your own party. It's like, how on earth? I just can't grasp that. It's completely beyond my understanding.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's this kind of thought process. I just can't wrap my head around that. It's just totally bizarre. Medusa, your thoughts?
Well, the hatred was just vitriolic. You could palpable. It's what I could feel reading that article. And I know that West Virginia is a big mining state,
mm-hmm.
And that certainly is a factor in how some of these people voted that are intelligent
mm-hmm.
and aren't racist. But what I took away from the article was just the pure hatred of President Obama for no specific reason whatsoever. Other than just to hate the man, and the only thing they left out is because he is a black man. That's the part that they left out. But you could certainly read between the lines and see that.
Yeah.
Not a state I would like to go touring through it all.
Yeah, tell me about it. Eric, your thoughts?
I'm looking through this story, and I guess to me, and it may just be how I'm looking at it and how I'm seeing it, I don't see the racial undertones that y'all see now. I do find it interesting that this guy is running and is, I mean, if the story is to be believed, is popular. So I think that tells more about the area he's in and, just some of the illogical thinking. But that being said, if he wins, can he get himself out of jail?
I'm going to pardon myself.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome? that'd be kind of funny.
Judd, pardon myself.
Can a president?
Let that be his first thing in office.
The question is, can he pardon? All right, I don't know if a president can pardon himself because usually they have to wait for him to be out of office so he can get pardoned. But I don't know how he can.
Maybe
No, this guy cannot be elected as president. Basically.
Yeah. We've seen where things get put on the ballot.
Well, this particular guy, there's other paperwork that he's on the primary ballot, but there's other paperwork that presidential candidates are required to file, and I don't think he's filed all of that paperwork actually.
Well, chances are, I mean, this is more of a shock thing than anything else.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, the thing of it is, he's not even promoting the fact that he's in prison. The people that were voting for him didn't even know that.
Yeah. It goes to see how, I'm not going to say uneducated, because I'm sure they have plenty of educated people, but just goes to show you that you have people who aren't paying attention to what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't care enough about the situation to even bother to know who they're voting for. That's really sad.
But at least they're voting.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in there. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
You should have to have a license to vote.
A license to vote?
Yes, and a license to have a kid.
Oh,
For
Jesus.
Christ's sake. Don't get me started.
Or at least score above 80 on an IQ test.
Yeah, all right.
All I'm gonna say is the Republicans are trying to get them to have a license to vote, but the liberals think that
Wait, no,
voter ID is not a very good thing.
No, I don't think it
Just
means.
saying.
I don't mean the driver's license because.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think it was like you get a fishing license doesn't mean you can go out and drive a car just because you have a fishing license. I mean, a license to vote means you've actually passed an intelligence test. If you don't know, I don't know what kind of questions I'd have to ask you there. Take an IQ test. If you can't figure that, maybe you shouldn't be voting. Our next story here is Mitt Romney had outed as an anti-gay and high school bully. Eric and I had to talk to Eric earlier tonight before the show, and we came to a few conclusions on this. But one of the things that I thought about after we hung up is that it goes to stand for his character. Back then, what he had done was him and five other guys had gotten together, and they attacked this one kid in high school, cut off his hair. Now, yes, we've all done stupid things when we were in high school or whatever. However, I think his attitudes have not changed from that point to now. Because instead of bullying with 5 people, he's using the law to bully the country not only his state, but he wants to get into office so he can bully all of gay people everywhere, not just one, so he can cut his hair, but he wants to bully everyone so they can't get married and they can't adopt or even have kids in some cases. Dan, your thoughts?
I think of this as, this particular instance pretty much means as much to me as whether or not Bill Clinton inhaled.
Yeah.
Hillary, don't bogart that joint. But this particular instance really doesn't mean a whole lot in itself, I don't think. I think Romney's lying about it. I think he does remember it. When he says, they quote Romney saying, "I certainly don't believe that I thought the fellow was homosexual. That was the furthest thing from our minds back in the 1960s. So that was not the case." Excuse me a moment while I call bull.
Absolutely. He knew.
Saying that that was the furthest thing from our minds back in the 1960s. Absolutely wrong. I mean, you see public health scare films from the 50s where they're talking about, the evil homosexual trolling for young boys. Because, even more so than now, people equated homosexuality with pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
And, saying that, that was the furthest thing from our minds, he's lying about it.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that really bothers me. But even more than that, I think it shows one situation with, Mitt Romney in particular, and very many people in Washington in general, on both sides of the party line, is a complete lack of empathy.
Yes, absolutely.
They don't care about other people because they cannot conceive of what it's like to not be anyone but themselves, which is usually a wealthy Caucasian male.
Right. Yeah, the thing is, though, I've heard this transcript. Not heard the transcript. I've heard him talk about this. When he was talking about this, he had this laugh when he was talking about it. It's like he thought it was funny. It's not funny to anybody else, but to him. It's like, it was just back then, and I don't really remember. But he points out points of it. He admits he remembers it, but he doesn't remember it. It's like, like you said last week, he's got so many mouths talking out of all around his neck. I don't think he even knows what he's saying anymore. Medusa, your thoughts?
Flip-flop.
Yeah.
What is it going to be? Flip-flop. You either remember it or you don't.
Yeah.
And what I particularly hate about this entire scenario is that it takes away from our president who endorsed gay marriage, for all people.
Mm-hmm.
That marriage is for everyone. And it kind of takes away the punch of that because, who do you want to vote for? Somebody who's going to be a bully for power, or you want to vote for somebody who's going to be sharing that power?
Right.
And that would be President Obama. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but there's just 3 words that I learned to hate when I was working in court, and that's I don't know, and I don't recall.
Mm-hmm.
And you know immediately that somebody is lying, that they do recall 100% what happened. And
I don't know about that because I had to actually be a witness in a court hearing just earlier this year. And they asked me certain questions. When I had wrote up my statement. I remembered it at that point, but there had so much time had passed. I actually forgot some of the finer points. So I can't say that that's completely true, but it does happen. But he did see. But he did. The thing is, though, he said part of it was that he remembered it, that this incident, some of it had happened. But then he said, "Oh, I don't remember that part of it."
Remember what he wanted to remember of it.
Yeah.
He had a very convenient memory. That's what I would have to say about
Cherry picking memory.
Mm-hmm. And a flip-flop.
Yeah.
Complete flip-flop.
Absolutely. Eric, your thoughts?
For the most part, I agree with Dan. I don't think that this is something that happened years ago. And I think and we all do stuff at a young age that we regret, and that if we could go back, we would most probably change. And I would hope that he knowing what he does now, if he could go back, he would change it. Now, I do know what his stance is on gay marriage currently, and I don't think that Barack Obama is as true on gay marriage as everybody would like to make him out to be. Not so much that he supports it as much as what he's willing to do about it. But like I said, I think this thing with Mitt Romney is something that happened in the past, like plenty of things that Barack Obama has done, like his drug use and stuff like that. And, we have to look past it and look at what's going on now. And they actually had the family come out recently, and one of the guy's sister, I mean the person who's bullied is no longer with them.
Yeah, he committed suicide.
He passed away. One of the sisters came out and said that first of all, he never mentioned the story to him, and then secondly that he wouldn't like to be used in this way. This isn't what he would have wanted. So there's some things there, that I think need to be looked at.
Well,
and
that's convenient for them insofar as he is not around to state his case.
Right.
How convenient.
Yeah, because he could have been. Yeah, because
we don't know what he would have done.
Right, we don't know for sure.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually myself, that we can always try to presume what's presuppose. Thank you. That's what I was searching for. Presuppose what somebody might have done based on their past character, but so much time has passed. I think that it's quite possible with everything that's gone on that he might have wanted to come out and said, "Hey, this guy, he did this to me." So,
right. But again, we never know. And on top of that,
no, we don't know.
There's only one guy who's really talking about this story, and we don't. And some are making the observation.
Well, actually, 5 people
might not have even been there whenever this happened.
Actually, it's 5 people. 5 people.
It's 5 people now. Okay,
it's 5 people.
I was one. So.
No, it was 5 people. 5 people the people that did this with him, they confirmed. It's been confirmed with all 5 people that he actually did this.
Okay, my apologies.
No.
Like I said, last I heard, it was just the one guy.
No, it was actually 5. No, but it's like I said, you gotta stop listening to Fox News.
Well,
they're not gonna tell you all the story,
Well, a lot of this I'm getting from ABC. So.
Okay. Well, I
that Packard. Now what?
Spank them. That's what you do. You just need to spank them. All right. Well, let's get on to our next topic.
Give me the news.
Now, we talked about last week how some grandparents had pulled their granddaughter around in a car, in a little toy car, pulled behind an SUV. This time, it was their kids, their own kids, a mother and a father. They strapped their 4 kids to the car. I think they were trying to follow Mitt Romney's example with the dog kennel, but in this case, they did it with their kids. They strapped to the hood of the car, ages. Let's see here. I saw this evening. It's like 4, 5, 6, and 7 years old. They were not injured. They went about 4. It says here. They went about 0.2 miles, or about 3 blocks, before they got stopped. The bond for the guy got a $1,300 bond, while the wife only got a $2,500 bond. I think they should have set the bond for both of them because they are both culpable in this incident. I mean, it's not like the wife said, "Oh, I don't want to do this, but I'm too drunk and I don't care." So it doesn't. Why people are you doing this? There was many years ago. I seen this video. This guy had made a dummy strapped to the top of the car, and had made it look like he's trying, just holding on, going ah. That's what it looked like. He getting stopped by cops all the time, but it's just it was just a dummy. These are actually physical. These are children. Don't put children in the car and then start driving around. Don't
Why
do.
not?
He said he thought they were going to be. He thought they'd enjoy it, but no, you don't. You don't do this.
Cheaper than Disneyland.
Well, that's
True.
That's not. Well, the rides are about as safe. No. Dan, your thoughts?
He thought they'd like the ride on the hood of the car, so he strapped them down with a tow strap. It's like, what? Obviously this guy was not thinking. He was his blood alcohol level is 0.17%, which is twice the legal limit, 0.08% Indiana. And it's he was a little bit lit. And he shouldn't have been driving in the first place. And then to have kids with him, let alone strapping them to the hood of the car, he should have known better The girl that was with him should have known better. One of the kids was her daughter. Apparently, the guy's ex came and collected her 3 children. Their 3 children when notified by the police. The woman he was with, her daughter is now in the custody of the Child Protective Services.
Jeez, I didn't read that in there. I must have skipped over that. But they were both kids from both of them, huh?
So it's I don't, what do you do in this kind of situation?
I don't know.
These people really need some help in dealing with their lives from back when they were kids. This is not something that has just suddenly happened. They became stupid.
I think it was the alcohol. Twice.
It's probably not due to a head injury.
Oh, I don't know.
But this are your thoughts.
I think there's, head injury possible here. Probably done on himself with a hammer. I mean, look at the people we're discussing here. And this just brings me back to the point that you need a license to have children. I may not be able to operate my computer, but I can get a license to raise a kid better than they can. I assure you. And it is cheaper than Disneyland, and the safety level is about as high. And that's all I have to say about stupid people.
Yeah, these people are incredibly stupid. I just can't understand what goes through people's minds with this kind of stuff.
That would be a rational thing to do. But, they're a voting family. He obviously took
they probably vote, too.
Yeah.
Oh. You know what the funniest part is? They started this at the liquor store.
Everybody did extra homework but me.
Yeah.
God.
Eric, your thoughts?
How annoyed were they at their kids to just say, you know what? That's it. Y'all are outside the car. What if they kept on with the, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there?
I quite honestly, I've done that to my kids. They
put them on the trunk on the
no. I was gonna say that we're going down the
story now.
Yeah. That's it.
That's
yeah.
story.
No, I said I've told my kids on occasion. I said if you guys don't behave, I'm gonna strap you to the roof and you can ride the rest of the way from there.
Well, it seems like they made through with their threat.
Apparently they did. I wouldn't actually do it, but I mean, I just like. All right, that's it. You guys should go on the roof. You guys can just work it out up there. You can catch the bugs and everything.
One of the things that they teach in education is that if you're going to make a threat, you better be willing to carry out with it.
But they know. I know. But I never. That reminds. We got to talk about this after the show. But there's some. I was going to ask you from a couple shows back, but yeah, no, it's. I just do that as a joke. I would never actually do that.
Okay. So. And I mean, this is really a very horrible thing, and I don't know what would possess them or why would they, and especially to be not only drinking and driving, but drinking and driving with your kids in the car, but drinking and driving with your kids on the roof of your car.
Yeah, or the hood of your car in this case.
Or hood. I'm sorry, hood. My apologies. I mean that is, I could not even, it boggles my mind, and hopefully. They're in custody in a very good foster home that will take care of them and that will help them through this. I mean, my God, they are so lucky they caught that early.
Yeah.
And before something horrible happened.
Oh, absolutely. I had this thought when I first read this story. I thought maybe he'd been drinking so much. He thought maybe he had actually gone out hunting and captured deer, and his kids were looking like deer. And because keep calling the kids deer, so he thought, I'll just strap them to the hood of the car.
Because they're dear to me.
They're dear to me, right? Exactly.
They're fired as parents.
You guys, you're fired. On to our next story here. A woman went to a local store in Salt Lake City. Apparently, the store, they deal with stuff that was unclaimed merchandise, unclaimed property. This woman, came out with a box of tampons, opened it up, and one of the things inside there, the first one she went to open, didn't look quite right. She went to open it, and there was cocaine in there. She didn't know what it was. She was going to call. She called her sister, and she said, "Well, I was going to call somebody tomorrow." She said, "No, you call the police. This might be a terrorist attack," because they had the the white powder in the envelopes and everything. So it could have very been anthrax or something, but. I got to thinking about this. What if this had been in such a situation? She could have just opened it up, used it, and she could have had a drug overdose from a tampon. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, could you imagine that? I don't think it was. I don't think it was at the point where she would not have noticed that there was something wrong. Mm-hmm. That she would have actually used it as the intended purpose. Right. But yeah, apparently there was a big cocaine deal going on, and somebody was saying, okay, you pick up the load here, and it'll be in this, and for whatever reason, whether somebody got offed, or somebody was in jail, or somebody just missed the wrong train, the freight never got picked up.
Yeah. It's yeah. I think if she had really if she had known this was cocaine, she probably could have. If she had known and she wasn't an honest person, she could have gone, I could go make some quick cash.
Yeah, exactly.
She said she obviously never known what cocaine. Obviously, she didn't recognize what it was, so she'd probably never seen cocaine in her life. So, if she had been a different kind of person who had used it, know what it was, it would have been a whole different story. Medusa, your thoughts?
Howdy doody. We get moody,
That'll take care of your mood.
One tampon with cocaine is not bad in a pack. It's a mood elevator. Makes you happy. You guys should know this. Packard.
I don't know. I have heard stories. Women, what they would do is they don't want to be. They think they're not going to have alcohol in their breath. So I've heard stories where they would put vodka or some other alcohol in that, and they would put it inside themselves so they could get drunk like that without having to actually ingest it.
Human beings are like orangutans. They're very creative. But if she had uses for the intended purpose, it would have been a tragedy, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
It's lucky that she caught it and was honest enough to come forward with the predicament, finding the tampon. So, all happy endings have come about, so yeah, that's what I have to say.
Absolutely. Eric, your thoughts?
She totally snorted that.
Oh, man. My line.
One of us had to say it. I always want to take that chance.
Was my line?
I just want to know, why? Why did they... were they trying to hide it from the cops? Was it their own unique way of trying to...
Yes.
Of trying to ingest it?
No, I think what it was just I think what it was is that they were using
accidentally had cocaine and it fell over in the machine.
No. No, actually she said that there was, it says in the box of the 16 inspected 4, and 2 of them had a cellophane package inside and 2 of them were normal tampons. So apparently this was done intentionally. So the box looked like it was sealed properly. It just, what they did was they opened up the box, they took a few out, and they replaced it with this. They were just trying to smuggle this in a way they thought, well, hey, no one's thought of this idea. Who's going to think of looking at a box of tampons? Guys don't want to touch tampons. My gosh. Oh, because it's so icky and it's just like, ooh. So
here, just take your tampons.
Just take your tampons and go away. So you think cops, or you think any guy is going to want to look at a box of tampons? That's the furthest thing from his mind. That he's like, yeah, there might be cocaine in there. Yeah, there might be icky things in there too. So I'm not going to touch those.
It is obviously for personal use.
Well, there's also that possibility too. Did you want to? Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Oh no. No, but that's really all I'm thinking of. Is like how, why? You know, what was the plan? Did they put some in a box and someone came by, so they had to quickly get rid of the rest of it and put it in a different box, and they were planning on getting. You know, it's like, is there a big conspiracy here? Is this our government testing on us again?
God, you need to think simpler when it comes to the government and drug addicts.
Nothing
They're not
simple ever
complex
comes from the
thinkers.
government.
No, I think this.
You wonder why some women seem a little bit edgy around that
I
time.
know. They haven't had their fix.
Give me a gotta go to the bathroom with my tampon.
Remember, don't snort the tampon.
Hey, it comes with straw.
I see. This is exactly what I'm talking about. We don't want to know this stuff.
Point.
Oh, well, let's get into our next topic. Now, up in Nova Scotia. Now, this is I read this story. It was a little unusual. There is a 12th grader. Wears a shirt to school that says "Life is wasted unless you without Jesus" on it, and he was given a 5-day suspension because he was wearing the shirt. There was an update on this story. Apparently, that this student was also going around and he was pretty much attacking other students for their religious beliefs and whatnot. But in this instance, the atheist group up there got involved and said, "Hey, you know what? This is freedom of speech. You should be allowed to wear it." So I think they undid his suspension and they let him wear the T-shirt. The other the video I saw, the kids are like, "Hey, you know, this guy, he's been attacking us. He's been in our faces about it and everything." So they felt really uncomfortable around this guy. But I think the atheist group still did the right thing because they were still defending his right to free speech. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's, free speech is not, for me, but not for you guys. It doesn't work that way. Free speech is for everyone. And it's, I don't know the exact differences between the way things work in U.S. law compared to Canadian law up in Nova Scotia. But, if you allow free speech for one group, you have to allow free speech for all groups.
Yeah.
If somebody is offended, that's too bad.
Yes, I agree. It really is too bad.
I don't agree with the kid's message.
No, I don't either.
But I will stand up and fight for his right to give that message. That's where that's where a lot of socially conservative people fall on the wrong side of things. I think is that they think that there's this ultimate big blanket that's going to keep them from ever being offended by anything in their lives.
Yeah.
If I'm not offending you, I'm not doing a good enough job.
Yeah, there was actually, I was thinking about this story after I found it, and it occurred to me that I have never seen a religious group come out and fight for an atheist's right to have their say. But this just blows my mind that it was the opposite was true. It was just like, we're standing up for your rights. Were you going to do the same thing for us maybe sometime? Maybe, but most likely not. At least that's been my experience anyway. Medusa, your thoughts?
This occurred in Norway, did it not?
Nova Scotia, that's up in Canada.
Nova Scotia, close enough. There's some flippin' nice up there. I'll tell you.
Big difference. Norway's a little bit further away.
Okay, well, this would never happen in the United States of Canada.
United States of Canada? We got a new...
As opposed to Jesus Land.
Oh, I see. I gotcha.
Yes, there you go.
Now I gotcha.
I remember that map, and so do you.
Yes, I do.
I It's all about free speech. It doesn't matter, as Dan said, if I don't like what they're talking about, I support their right to get their message out there. You know, that is a basic human right, is freedom of speech. And it's available to all people, and all people should support one another in that venture. I think it's really great that they came out and did this. I just hope that, as the Greeks like to say, one hand washes the other, and both hands wash the face. That this is a cooperative effort. That, you know, if it should come out that the atheists need a little helping hand, that the Christians will back them up as well. But unfortunately, I'm a pessimist, and the glass is half full. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. I know. I exactly that's what I was saying earlier. It's just like I wouldn't say it would happen in the reverse. Eric, your thoughts?
I'm very excited that the atheist stood up for this person's right to wear his shirt. And the only thing that I really wonder, you know, if this kid who wore this shirt was really picking on the other students because of their beliefs, then I'll have a problem with him. But if it's just a discussion, you know, there's nothing wrong with discussion, and I think discussion's always healthy. Mm-hmm. But it just kind of depends on how people look at it. But if he's just going around and, you know, like example, we have, unfortunately, atheists on this show. No, we have, you know.
Dun, dun, dun.
Rocker.
But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if I come on and I'm always like, heathens, you know, it doesn't mean that we can't discuss it. We can't talk about it, but I do like the fact that they stood up for his right to speech, because in so many times, you know, I feel sometimes that anytime like there's a nativity scene or something like that, you know, people will try and either protest it being shown or try and
I think it's a matter of location when it comes to that. It's not a matter of the fact that there's a nativity scene. They put it in front of their church. I have no problem with that. You want to put it on government property? I have a problem with that.
Right. But I mean, they have had some people vandalize nativity scenes and stuff like that. Whether it's for a message or not, you know, that's left up.
Well, that's not necessarily that's not necessarily atheists are doing that. Some people
I'm
just
not saying it's atheist.
Okay.
In no way have I said it's atheist. I'm
All
saying
right.
it happens, and I'm saying I don't know what the reason is for it. But the thing is that, you know, it's we have to understand that people have difference of opinions.
Yes.
And it's more important that we discuss these difference of opinions and create more of a understanding of why people believe what they do. You know, it's like I said here, I have a different opinion from Packard, and sometimes Dan, and, you know, sometimes Medusa. It doesn't mean that we all can't get along or we all can't discuss it and have a good time with it. It just means that it's a difference of opinion. We all have the right to say it. Now, do we have to listen? No.
No.
But do we have the right to say it? Yes, we very much do.
Right, we should absolutely have the right to say it, and I think that's the whole point. Because I've said on the show and over Twitter many times, I said I don't agree with what you say, but I will go to the mat to defend you so you can say it. That's the whole nature of this country. That's why we have a secular document as our Constitution. Anyway, let's get moving on to our next story here. A priest risked his church career to expose pedophilia, but his concerns were dismissed. So, I quite often come across stories where there's reporting on a priest or a series of priests showing porn or going after kids who are, you know, or who are doing behind the pulpit, you know, not being a real good Christian people, as it is. But this guy, he is actually trying to do the right thing. He tried to report it, say, hey, this is going on from, I think he said he was in there from 63 to 68, and he was seeing this going on, and he was trying to stop it. He said, hey, you got to do something about this guy. He's having sex with children. Oh, sure. And they didn't do anything about it. And he nearly got himself fired in the process. It just really blows my mind that the church is so backward. Yeah, blind. They don't want it. They don't want. If this was Eric, if this was like say for Eric in Eric's situation, because he's a teacher. If this was happening, or because he's around kids a lot, if this was happening with one of his a fellow teacher, and he said, "Hey, Joe Bob down the way is having sex with one of the students," do you think they go, "Well, we just won't look into it, or we'll try to dismiss Eric out of the thing here, so this other person can keep doing this"? No, they wouldn't do that. They would investigate. I don't see why the church gets a pass to not investigate this. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's really, yeah, I just don't understand, how this kind of thing can go on and be hushed up over and over and over again. It's not the Catholic church members.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholic hierarchy really doesn't seem to care what the church members think. They just do whatever they're going to do, hand down their rules, and move on. And the fact that this kind of thing is going on worldwide and is quite obviously being pushed behind and under the rug and everything else by the powers that be, I just can't understand how so many courts around the world are not just, filing charges, not against, the corporation that runs as a particular archdiocese in a state. No. I'm talking about file charges against the Pope, file charges against the Roman Catholic Church itself.
Oh yeah, that'd be
because nice. It's inexcusable. There is no excuse for this kind of behavior, and it keeps going on and goes on again and again. We keep uncovering more and more issues with this. I don't have a problem with Catholicism. I don't have a problem with people that follow the Catholic faith, because I'm related to a lot of people that follow the Catholic faith. But
I think we all are.
It's I was baptized Catholic. They still have me on the rolls. Oy vey. I really don't understand. It's just the Catholic hierarchy has been very, very much in cahoots with everybody else in the hierarchy to hush this up, to keep perpetuating the abuse and not doing anything about it, and that is criminal.
Yes, absolutely. It should be criminal. Why they don't criminalize? Why don't they do something about it? Is just beyond me. Medusa, your thoughts?
Well, the reason why they don't do anything about it is because the big honcho, the Pope, El Popa, was the big honcho over child abuse cases, and he chose to do nothing about it. So that's like the head of the KGB. If you're, the premier of Russia, you're lucky to be Putin all the time. And that basically the Pope is Putin. It's not a religion. It's the Holy Roman Army dressed in Catholic robes. No, make no mistake about it. It's just an army. They want more numbers of people. A web of deceit has been woven. It's sticky. It's nasty. It's hard to get through. And I think they like it that way. They have no interest. What would be their interest in pursuing these cases? They've already lost millions of dollars paying fines and settlements out to numerous hundreds, I don't know, thousands of victims by now. So no, the Catholic Church, there is no interest they have whatsoever in solving anything like this.
Right. I saw a letter someone had posted. Someone had posted this on Twitter, that the Catholic Church had sent out these letters to a lot of the people, and this guy, he sent one back saying, hey, if you guys didn't stop this pedophilia and everything going on, you guys wouldn't need to be begging for money for a defense fund.
Which brings to mind an old quote. Oh, what a web we weave when first we practice to deceive.
Yep.
They're getting caught up in their own web now. I have no sympathy.
No, I have no.
And, I had to face this issue head on when I had my son Joshua. My mother-in-law was Catholic. I'm Greek Orthodox. You know, the mothers insisted, even though I was an atheist, that this kid be baptized. So, you know, I had to tell my mother-in-law, there's no way. There's pedophiles in your church,
Right.
Connie. And just had to meet that head on. I had to respect her as a Catholic. She was a good woman. But I said, there's bad people in your church, Connie, and I'm not turning my son over to that. He's not going to a Catholic school. He's not going into a Catholic church. He's not even going to take a wafer out of a Catholic priest's hand. There's no way.
Right.
Because there's no way to know which ones are guilty and which ones aren't.
Right, exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Right. Good. Good. I mean, yeah. No. You've told this before that and I agree with you. Eric, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest issues of the Catholic Church is this child abuse scandal and how it didn't do anything whenever it was going on, which is totally against the teachings of that which they're trying to protect. And I really think that it's hurt them horribly, and that they still have a long way to go before they can regain trust in the American people, or not just American, but with the people in general. And for a long time, the Catholic Church has been losing people because of its staunch and stringent rules and regulations on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more and more people are going towards. I'm going to use these newer churches that don't have these stringent rules, that have grown past what happened in the 1600s. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, more power to this guy for trying to stand up and prevent more harm to these children. It's unfortunate that his words fell on deaf ears, and that no one did what they need to do. And if what Medusa says is correct about the Pope being a part of the group who were supposed to check and make sure that this wasn't going on, and he did nothing, well then, you know, that's his fault, and you created what you're in now. Right.
Yeah, exactly. They
has to be held accountable.
Yeah, they should be held accountable. Exactly. All right. Well, let's get into it's a good story, but we should get going here because we're starting to run late. when don't we run so late on the show? Before we get to our funny tweet this evening, we should. If you would like to put an ad here on the show, please contact me here at packardpokesheads@gmail.com. You can have your thing in your video right here at the bottom. There it is. It says your ad will be right here, and the price is quite reasonable. You'll be able to be seen on YouTube, and we will talk about it here on the show. So if you would please give me, if you have something you want to say, your message, whatever it is, just send me a message at packardpokesheads@gmail.com. And we'll get your ad here on the show. And if same thing with a donation, if you would like to make a donation, go to packardpokesheads.wordpress.com and press the donation button. And seriously, I really seriously need some donations to keep the show going. I'm not even kidding. I'm not asking. I am begging at this point. Please, I really need some help getting this stuff because there's situations going from bad to worse. That's right. Let's get into our funny tweet now. Our funny tweet this evening comes from Godless Savage. That's GODLESS_SAVAGE. He says, "Don't let my lazy appearance fool you. On a cellular level, I am very busy."
That's good. I like that.
Dan, your thoughts?
It's true. We really don't think about the amazing activity going on in our bodies every single moment.
Yeah.
From day-to-day breathing and your heart beating, to when we're ill and the medicine is going in and doing its job fighting invading cells. It's just phenomenal what goes on in the human body that we take for granted every single moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you're even if you're doing nothing, your body's still doing something.
That's right. Well, unless you've achieved room temperature.
Yeah.
In which case you're just decomposing.
Well, then the things living inside you are working. Not necessarily you, but the things, the bacteria is working. Medusa, your thoughts?
That's disgusting. Here come the blowflies. God, I know.
Blowflies are botflies.
I watch CSI. I'll give them that. So there's no such thing as the couch potato then.
No.
Yeah.
They're still doing something. What are you doing? Were you just sitting there? No, my heart is beating, so I'm still doing something.
You, aren't I?
I'm looking at you. I'm talking. Must be working. Eric, your thoughts?
I hope my students don't hear this because I'll never hear the end of it.
What are you doing? You're not doing your homework? No, I'm doing something.
I'm metabolizing. Please.
What more do you want from me?
So kids, if there any kids listening, tell your teacher, hey, I'm not doing nothing. I am on a cellular level. I'm very busy. So,
tell it to your science teacher. It'll amaze them.
Yes, you might actually impress them.
Well said.
Once you'll impress them. Once. All right, let's get into our shout out for this evening.
Hey, you guys!
Our shout out this evening comes from Eric. And and Eric's shout out is for Chamberlain. Okay, ChamberLain. Is that right? With the W on the end? Okay. And Eric, would you tell us a little bit about Chamberlain?
He does a Star Wars podcast that I'm a big fan of. That again, I talked about one of the other guys who does a podcast. But they do it together, and they talk about everything that has happened since the films. And they go into very big discussions about it. If you're a big Star Wars nerd, like I am, admittedly so, you can find out a lot of information that happens after the movie's finished, or even before the movie's finished.
Oh, cool.
And during the movies, the side stories and stuff like that, or as they call it, the expanded universe.
That reminds me about that's like. There's this story, people about standing in line talking about the Star Wars movie before they've even had a chance to see it. There's like, I hear Yoda's going to make a Jar Jar Binks an honorary Jedi, and
that's most probably was the original idea. Then they realized how much he sucked, and they made him start the Empire instead.
Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, that would make it hate him anymore. It's like he accidentally got the Empire started. Yeah, good idea. Well, let's get into our question. Oh, by the way, before I finish that, but if you want to give him a follow, it's ChamberLainW. So give him a follow and tell him you heard him on the show. Okay, let's get into our question of the week.
Excuse me.
I have a question.
I have a question, sir.
What are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
Our question from last week was, what creeps you out? Now, we had several replies. Let's see if I can just find them here in my... Packard creeps you out?
Especially when you're locked in his basement.
Yes. We had... You don't tell everybody what I had locked in the basement with all the funny stuff. No, just kidding. We had two replies. One was from Chaos Agent 23, and she said bot flies.
Oh,
I looked it up. These things are nasty looking creatures. Yeah. And Wizard of Todd said clowns. Their makeup really makes me physically ill, and they must all 2-1 be rounded up and shot. Yes, really, KTFC. I'm not sure what KTFC stands for, but But yeah, it's clowns are a little creepy too. I mean, there's a movie. It's called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's a really bad B horror movie. These clowns come down. You can't even eat the popcorn because the popcorn actually eats you, or it does all kinds of weird stuff. It's just, trust me, if you like horror movies, or especially bad horror movies, they actually made. I think they made a couple sequels on this thing, but it was a weird movie. Our question for this week is, let's see here. Oh, what was your, since we did the thing about Mitt Romney, I kind of figured, it's kind of a poignant question. What was the first name of your childhood nemesis? Dan, what was the first name of your childhood nemesis?
First name of my childhood nemesis.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Oh, I can picture his face in my mind, and I can't think of his name now.
You want to take it?
I think it was Ricky.
Ricky.
But I'm not sure. And the thing of it was, he was a big bully in school. He was a little bit on the big side. I mean, not that he was fat, but I mean he was big across the shoulders and stuff. And I'm talking, like, 5th, 6th, 7th grade kind of thing. And I remember being about, I think I was 15 at the time, and he was at the video arcade. This was in 1980. Wow. Yeah, a long time ago.
I know, a long time ago now.
But, we were at the video arcade. There was a ledge along the front windows outside, and he had said something to me, and for the first time I ever remember seeing anybody stand up to him, I just told him to shut up, and pushed my hand against his chest, and plopped into where he sat down on that brick ledge in front of the windows. And from that day forward, it was like he was my best pal.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what you have to do with bullies, is you have to stand up to them, and then they respect you. I have no idea how that works, but it does work. It's, I guess, that old it's a tribal thing, I guess. Medusa, who was your childhood nemesis?
Sharon Hobson.
Oh, you don't have to give the whole name, just the first name.
Remember it. That's how bad she was. She was the bully. She told me I had a fat ass, fat lips, and a big nose. But the disc jockey I conned into coming down to the cul-de-sac at night, and later got busted, grounded for 6 weeks for, told me that someday I would grow into my fat ass, big lips, and big nose, and men would love me for it. And they have. That's all I have to say.
There you go.
Revenge is sweet.
Yes, it is. The best way to get revenge is live longer than everybody else.
Yes, and I've often been told the junk in my trunk is quite lovely, as are my lips and my nose.
I'll have to take your word for that.
You're going to have to take my word for that.
Take your word for it.
Or I would turn you to stone. Sorry,
right.
I gotta be me.
Of course. Eric, what was the first name of your childhood nemesis?
It's like as you ask the question, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking and I'm thinking and I'm thinking. I really don't have like a serious nemesis, Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be.
I gotta say, I had a pretty decent childhood where I didn't have someone who
didn't have. No,
that badly, I should say.
Then you were the bully, I think. No.
That's right.
Usually the ones that can't say, I don't know if I had any bullies, because you were the bully.
As a kid, I was an oddball, and one of the things that happened to me is that I moved right at that key age from a small town to a big town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I couldn't quite gel with the big town people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah, like I said, it's like it wasn't that I wasn't picked on from time to time. I mean, I was picked on.
Okay.
But it's
I've
not like
apologized
I had
for that, by the way.
like that.
I have apologized for that.
But he doesn't remember it if it actually happened.
No, but I don't remember like one person who I'm just like, oh my god, that person,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I understand. I mean, there's always been people that are coming in and out of your life that you're not going to remember for sure because it was not like it was yesterday.
I remember another one, Sister Marie Bernadetta. She hit me in the back of the head, and I hit her back.
You hit a sister?
I hit a nun.
Well, they weren't getting any anyway. It doesn't matter.
That's right. She hit me first.
Right.
Totally justified.
There you go. For mine, my biggest one was his name was Ron, and his last name fit his attitude. Seriously, it was he has an unusual last name. But I had some bullies that I actually would deal with. I gave them I did a reverse psychology. They said they were going to beat me up. I says, oh, please, I need to be beat up. Please, you need to beat me up today. Come on now, you got to do it today. And they're like, well, all right, now you got to behave, or you got to start listening to us, or we won't beat you up. So I played the whole game reverse against them. Like, oh, you're not going to beat me up today? Gosh, dang it, And that went along all year, and we all got along very well, except for that that one little instance. So it was. That was the best part, using the reverse psychology on them to give you the effect that you actually wanted, because that's nothing worse than saying that you wanted to get beat up. They can't process that. They say, why would somebody want to get beat up? So, but anyway, that's it. we're done.
Question of the week.
Oh yeah, that was the question of the week.
What's the new one?
That's it right there on the screen. It says, "Who's the first name that your child notices?" That's the question of the week.
I'm gonna switch to Sister Marie Bernadetta.
Okay, you should.
She's a nun and I hit her.
Okay.
I also defiled the host,
There you go.
They thought I was a Satan worshiper. I said, no, I'm just Greek.
Oh, there you go.
We have real wine and bread.
Yeah. All right, well, that's it for us tonight. If you would like to make a donation to the show, please, and I'm like he said, I'm not asking, I'm begging. Please go to packardpokes@wordpress.com. Drop in a dollar amount to help keep the show going, because really need to get some funds in. Because some of the equipment is failing again, and I need to get this fixed and replaced, because it's a bad situation. So that's why we're having some of these audio issues tonight. But in the meantime, if you want to reach us, you can reach us on Twitter. And if you're not on Twitter, why aren't you? You can reach Dan on Twitter as
Rel Unrelated. That's RELUNRELATED.
Right, and you can reach Medusa on Twitter as
Medusa Rants. That's MEDUSA_RANTZ.
Right, and you can reach Eric on Twitter as
I have no thoughts. AHAVENOTHOUGHTS.
Right, and we want to give. I didn't mention this at the beginning of the show because I didn't want everybody to get all teary-eyed. Eric will be leaving the show for a while. He may pop in from time to time. His life is getting complicated, and so
marriage will do that to people.
Yes, I did not drop the bomb. Eric, you just dropped the bomb. He told me he swore me to secrecy that he was about him getting married, and
well, no, it's a lot of things. It's marriage and it's also work. Our governor's an idiot, but
yeah.
Just so y'all know.
Yeah,
I live in Illinois. I can sympathize.
Yes.
I live in California. I've got Moonbeam.
Yes, and I agree with Crystal. Says so in the chat room that we're gonna miss you, Eric. Quite. You make our chats so much more interesting because we give such a different perspective on things. And
I try.
Yes, you do, and we really greatly appreciate it. And we wish you all the best. And we hope to have you back again. And you just, if if we get in a situation we can't find somebody, he said he'd come in and pinch hit for us. So he may not, he won't be gone forever, and you certainly will not be forgotten, certainly not from us.
And you will still find me on Twitter, where I will definitely annoy the crap out of Pat.
Absolutely. He will still be annoying me to hell. So please give Eric a follow if you're not already following him, and just bug the piss out of him every day.
Packard does, so.
Certainly, yeah. I have to. It's what I do. But we wish you a fair farewell, Eric. Please,
thank you.
Don't be a stranger and come back again. Don't be a stranger, but come back again. No, Eric, go away! Don't come back anymore. No,
back to your basement.
Back to the basement with you. Anyway, you can reach me on Twitter as Packard_Sonic. That's PACKARD_SONIC. If you want to get the show notes, it's at PackardPokesat.wordpress.com. If you want to get the show announcements, go to PackardPokesat on Twitter, all one word. And you can get, like I said, you'll get show announcements or whatever. If you would like to come to the live show, it's at justin.tv/PackardPokesat at 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time. That's Chicago time. At Friday nights. And you can be able to hear us live. Interact in the chat room. Sign up is free. So just sign right up and you can chat with us. Or if you don't want to sign up, you just want to watch the show and listen in, just go to the show there and take a listen, and you can later. Or if you want to see the show later on, go to it's on YouTube, youtube.com/PackardPokesat. If you would like to leave an answer for the show, or the question of the week, at the bottom in the crotch bar, as it is, just or down the comments on YouTube, go there and leave your comment there, because most everybody's got a YouTube account of some sort, or Google account. So just leave your answer there. I'll get it there, or I'll get it on Twitter. Either way, this way you have one more way to interact with the show. I want to thank everyone for coming to the chat room. My computer just froze up. The video just froze. Okay. Lovely. Perfect. I got my eyes closed. All right. If you'd like.
I did that too.
Nice. Anyway, have a good evening, and thanks everybody for coming. That's it for us.
And that's a wrap.